The Jenn Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, is an inspirational hour that'll take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jenn Royster is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Imagine having the ability to use your innate positive energy to dissolve the stuckness in your life, whether it's emotional, physical, or spiritual, through this incredible dynamic show. Get ready to be transformed from Dr. Jenn's live guided healing meditations and intuitive readings, and unveil the power of connecting to spirit, the angels, and your higher self. Dr. Jenn is passionate about helping you find the answers you're looking for through an inward journey that'll strengthen your connection to spirit and help you trust your intuition. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jenn Royster.
Hello everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Dr. Jenn, and today we're going to talk about some really positive vibes that I see and some interesting lineups in astrology for the month of February 2022. This is one of those times in mid-February we were talking about last week. It's probably one of the best times, and I'm going to explain it a little bit more because we have 3 different energies lining up next week, and it's right after Valentine's Day. So Valentine's is February 14, but on the 15th, it might be the 16th, depending on where you're located, we have a full moon in Leo, and then the very next day, Venus and Mars line up with that full moon. So that's interesting information that's all lining up together, energies that are at play, and what can we do with these energies for a very positive outcome. It's very optimistic with the Leo moon. It's an upbeat, lighten up, have fun, be in your moment. Venus is always about that sacred feminine energy, and Mars is about the masculine energy. This is the energy that we all have within us. Doesn't matter if you're male or female in the physical form, we all have both energies, and it's a balancing act. This also will play into effect with our relationships with others. So I thought the timing for February was really interesting, especially since this is a month on the calendar we always celebrate for Valentine's. But it's not just about romantic love. It's about all of it. And love, what is love? Love is probably the most powerful energy out there that can heal. When you're talking about energy, it's not the kind of love that would be just romantic. And a lot of people immediately go there. This is about unconditional love, or what we call sometimes divine love, the universal love. Love for yourself is important here. Self-care, self-love, things like that. So we're going to go over that today. I want to explain it a little bit more about why this is such a really awesome time when you look at it from astrology viewpoint. Regardless of what you might be seeing out there in the world today, or hearing, or reading, or whatever, there's always another side to life. A positive perspective, a higher frequency perspective, and that's what we're going to focus on today, on what we can do with that. So I want to welcome everyone. We do stream live from my YouTube channel on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern if you want to join us live. I know we have a lot of people that listen on archives from many different places. But if you ever wanted to join us live, we have a live chat that we run, and we have people starting to line up in there. So I just want to say hello and welcome to everyone coming in. So this is a beautiful group that we have that shows up, and we're developing into a very unique type of energy when we all come together. So I just want to say thank you to those that do join me in the live, because I feel like I have just as much blessing from you as you're coming in for something to feed you. So I think it all, just the energy goes together, and I appreciate each and every one of you. So first of all, let's start this, okay? So if we have a full moon, now that full moon, it's 15th, 16th, like I said, you're going to look for where your location is in the world. It just depends on your timeline there, because we're all in different time zones. But this is a Leo full moon, and it will be bringing in to remind us of joy. I love this, especially after the last few years of all the challenges we've been feeling, to just remind you that life has joy in it. Don't forget about that part. And some of you might be feeling down and out, and you might be feeling like, I don't have any joy. It's that intention. It's like, just think about the things that would put a smile on your face. But bringing play and lightening up a little bit and just having fun in life, just laughing at the goofy things that can happen on a day-to-day basis. And just remembering that we're here to enjoy life, not just suffer and endure through it. And yes, we have challenges, but to give yourself time for that. That's really probably one of the most powerful self-care things we can do, is just remember to lighten up and have a little fun sometimes. Take a break. Actually take a break. For some of us, we're workhorses. We want to do things 24/7. We're entrepreneurs. We're trying to achieve something in life. But you will find that you'll be more productive if you have a balance with that. So these energies are here to remind us of what might need balance in our life. For some of you, maybe you're doing plenty of the joy part, but not enough of the work. That would be where you would balance differently. So very often we can get focused on, the end result, and we're forgetting about the journey to that goal. That's something I really want everyone to hear, because I know we've been trying and planning and waiting for it to work out for us. Whatever that might be in your life, but don't forget about the journey to the end goal. So sometimes we just get so focused on that we're forgetting all the steps that lead up to it, and we're missing all of that. That would be what you're doing in your present time. And we lose sight of where we are right now, and we forget to see the small things in life that we could appreciate. So this Leo full moon is reminding us of that. I thought that was really cool. I was like, wow, we could use a little extra joy. That's awesome. It brings back present moment, guiding us to think about how we could bring a little bit more of that lightheartedness into our life. Like, how could we just take charge and feel where we are right now, and just take that moment and quit worrying about that end result for a minute, and just take that break to appreciate where we are right now. Appreciate how far we actually have come. So that's what this full moon has. It's a strong energy. Leo is grandiose anyway. Leo likes to be on the stage and go, hey, let's do this. Well, it's saying, hey, let's have some joy. And I thought that was great. So it is about making your life better. When we allow this part of energy in, it's so important to the frequency. When we're working spiritually, which we are a metaphysical spiritual show, we're all about law of attraction and frequency and living in a fifth dimension, maybe like just living in a better world. The frequency will lift automatically when you bring in the joy and the laughter. So when we feel like we're so low, that is exactly what you need to do. It's not like you need to work harder. You need to go find something fun and lighten it up. Now, Venus and Mars are coming together. This hasn't happened since, I think, last summer of 2021, I believe. But they are coming together, and that's a positive here. I love this. See, it's good. This is a good show. I love these. This good energy. So we have these two coming together, and we're going to explain what that is, because that's very positive to help us find the balance between our positive, or our feminine, masculine energies that we have within ourselves. And there's two different meanings to both, so I'm going to explain what those are on energy. I'm going to explain what each one represents, and then it's up to you to take notes, pay attention to what might be where yours is imbalanced. Sometimes we're running too much on one side or the other. Think of the yin and yang symbol, how there's always a balance to life. So these two bringing in their energy is about aligning and balancing. And where are we with that? So if we're too, for example, if we're just too masculine or too driven or too, that way, like go, then we need to balance more of the feminine energy in. So things like that are going to be popping up here. If we're too on the feminine side, we might be in a state of victim or feeling sorry for ourselves kind of thing. We're like, oh, it's just happening to us. not that feminine energy is negative, but it can be different like that. It can feel like you're not doing enough. Because when we do things for ourselves, that feels good. We don't feel sorry for ourselves. So that's where that's coming into play. We might not feel like we're taking enough directive or decisive action when we're having too much of the feminine. But when we're having too much of the masculine, we don't slow down and listen, receive information. We're not nurturing what we already have, things like that. So we want to become aware of where the imbalance is in our life. So we have all of this, like, bring the joy in. Well, the joy is going to come from balancing these two energies. So when they come together, they're coming together in the sign of Capricorn. And this is in a few days next week. We're about 5 days away here. And it brings in the sign with Leo, the moon. So we're having a strong triangle here that helps guide us to find a way to liberate who we are, feel like we can be free to be ourselves. It's going to bring in, step into claiming who you are, your sexuality, all of it, the fullness of who you are. Just actually, who are you? And identifying and being standing up for that and being joyful about who you actually are and what you bring to the table in this world. So Venus, let's talk about that a little bit and how this plays out in astrology. Venus is considered to be the goddess of love. Mars is the warrior planet. So you have Venus is all about the love and the goddess. So you have the feminine. And then Mars is considered the warrior planet. So it's aggressive and more proactive. So when you have them come together, that's where you have passion, romance energy. It just pulls out all the stops for things to come together. So on the romantic table here, this may be opportunities for you. It activates sometimes what we call a soulmate contract. Sometimes the twin flames seem to find each other. It can be interesting. So the full moon, being the playfulness part of it, that comes in and lightens everything up. So now it's fun. So you have all these energies coming together that want to blend and work it out together. And I thought, oh wow, right on Valentine's Day. So sometimes we're harsh when it comes to, how we feel about things, or we're hard on ourselves. We find this energy to, we're just so self-critic. But no, when we have Venus energy come in, it wants you to nurture and do the self-care part too. It's very important. So when we are moving through this, you want to find something where your energy can move. Like sometimes when we have energy that's stuck in our bodies, doing something active can actually help, whether it's exercise, dance, movement, walking, some kind of activity physically can help you move energy when you feel like it's just stuck. A lot of times the way to relate to what I'm saying is if you feel like you've been pent up and you need to go to the gym or you need to go for a run, you're just, that energy that's just, I need to get this, I need to do something. Well, you might feel this energy. So sometimes when it comes to taking care of ourselves in a self-love way, because this is very much about that too. We cannot give somebody else what we don't have within ourselves in relationships. So it's important that we look at that while we're working with this energy. So if you feel good about yourself, you'll feel confident. You are appreciating who you are. You deserve to feel that way. You deserve to feel good. You deserve to feel radiant. You deserve to feel like you have a place in the world, because we all do. But do you believe that? How do you feel about that? That might be where you're working for a balance. When these three come together, Mars, Venus, and then we have this coming together with the moon, it's sort of a rebirth here. It really just Mars and Venus more, but it's a rebirth of bringing these energies to our attention and awakening them within us. We have all of these in ourselves, so it's important to see which one is on the back burner. Is there a balance? Is there a balance? Are we 50-50 with these energies, or is one stronger than the other? Everybody's going to have a different approach here, because you're going to know which one is imbalanced or not. That's for you to figure out. If Venus is representing sacred feminine energy, this energy goes way beyond our gender. It goes into our lives. It's all of nature. It's a nurturing, the mother, the goddess kind of thing. Feminine energy is represented in astrology by wavy lines. You might see those wavy lines on the symbols. Running water, the process of flowing, and that's how it's represented in this. It's very intuitive. It has this gentleness. It's an intuitive, quiet sound, like it just comes gently. It's about opening your heart. It's about just the planet of love, but it's also the planet of harmony, money and finance, and beauty in all things, not just physical beauty, just all things, anything. So, I mean, beauty is the eye of the beholder, right? But that beauty comes from within, not just an appearance. So if energy is inspiring us here to connect with our inner goddess, so to speak, our feminine sacred side here, and then just create wealth. What is it? To create wealth, to create harmony, to create and surround ourselves with the beauty of the earth and natural things? Is it to create a flame, to find new relationships, to stroke the flames of current relationships? Maybe it's not even a romantic, maybe it's your friendships. But this is, love goes into all of these aspects in different ways. There's different facets to a diamond. There's many different facets to relationships. So many different ways to approach, and they all deserve to have some love in them. Now, Mars is about the masculine energy. Mars is about going into, that's also, let me back up a little bit. That one is represented in astrology by the straight lines, not, where feminine energy is the wavy lines, masculine energy, straight lines, the still water, organizing, scheduling, that kind of thing. The rational mind, to speak your truth, to be outspoken, to take action, do something about it, and we all have this within ourselves. Our masculine energy within ourselves protects our feminine energy. Our feminine energy can nurture the masculine energy, and it can be a beautiful balance within yourself. Now, if this is the planet of action, it's about motivation and fearlessness too. This one is the one that gets things done, okay? Feminine energy is your intuition, and it's creative, it's nurturing, it's new beginnings, it's, bringing things and new ideas into the forefront. This energy of masculine and Mars energy is about forging ahead, toughening up, moving through it, finding confidence and strength. So we need a little bit of both, if you can see what I'm talking about. We don't need all of one or all of the other. We need a balance of both within ourselves. When we have that, we have confidence, we feel good about ourselves, our frequency will be higher. It will naturally be higher because you have the balance. You also will respect others. You won't be bombarding over top of them, or you won't be so passive you're not speaking up where you need to. Things like that. So if you're looking to bring in more of this energy, let's talk about a couple of ways, because you know which one you might need. So say we don't have enough of the feminine energy, we don't have enough of the Venus energy. What can we do to help bring some balance? And there's some activities you can do. So I'm going to go through some of that. First, you can do, one of the biggest things is practicing the self-love, the self-nurturing, the self-care, taking slow, deep breaths, yoga classes. Yoga works with this. Spending time near bodies of natural bodies of water. Okay, if you have the salt water, if you are near oceans and salt water, that's salt in the water, that can really help balance. But bodies of water, sometimes it might be your own bathtub. Okay, surrounding yourself with nature and meditating in nature. This is all to bring in some of that Venus energy. Being creative in the arts, writing, painting, poetry, things like that. spending some time alone, practicing listening to your intuition. All of these things can help you. Heart opening exercises, working, just the nurturing of the self-care. If you were to look at just one thing on the list and you looked at self-care, all these things are really falling underneath that category. The other thing is, how do we bring in the Mars energy if we don't have enough of that, right? So maybe you need to balance that. You have too much of one, so you're looking to balance the other. Here's how you can do that one. Strength training. Yeah, that's, vigorous types of exercise. Vigorous types of exercise. Writing letters to get things out on paper that's on your mind. So writing comes up again for Mars energy, but differently. Journaling, getting it out on, not being afraid to just get it out. Organizing your life, setting goals, making plans. Grounding comes into the Mars energy. Grounding, where you saw in Venus energy, we're looking to be intuitive. We're looking to kind of go to that space. But Mars energy grounds us. So you see how you need both? Right. And if you think about meditation, you ground first, then meditate. So now you're using both energies. That's a great example of that right there. Charging your crystals under the sun, if you use crystals. If you want the feminine energy, you would charge them under the moon, because that's more of the feminine energy. Just simple little things you can do. Overcoming your fears and doing it anyway, whatever that might be. Doing organizing types of things like puzzles or word games, believe it or not, would be more of that organization. The logic side, like putting things in their place kind of thing, like organizing. Those are things that help with the masculine energy. So, like I said, this is more about when you're working to balance that male energy, it's more about what can I do and let me do it. Let's do this. We can do this. And if you think about that, that supports the dreams and goals that you're creating and coming up with and working on, because all those ideas and that hunch of what you need to do next, that comes from the feminine side. But to take the action comes from the masculine side of you. You see what I mean? So Mars and Venus coming together is reminding us, where do you need the balance? Where are you using one more than the other, or are you balancing them? Leo's saying, have fun with it. So it's an interesting trilogy here of energies that are coming together for us. Another thing, like I said, now here, oh yes, here's my note. I knew it was last summer. It was last July of 2021 that this Venus and Mars came together. So if you look back to last summer of 2021, July, you can look and see where you were with things. How have you evolved in relationships or fearlessness or attitudes around love? I mean, where were you then? That was the last time we saw this energy combined. It just happens to be combined with a Leo moon this time, which is lightening it all up, which is really cool. Things that can happen. Now, according to metaphysics, spirituality, resources, astrology, things that can happen or manifest when these two come together are, like I said, the soulmate or twin flame contracts. And that's a whole nother topic, but that's just, those are things that, in a quick nutshell, a soulmate contract is something that we've signed before we even come here to Earth. Like, yes, we will do this together and we will work that out. It's all about soul growth and soul plans. You don't need to worry about who it is or what's going on with that, because your soul knows and it will find its way to happen when it's supposed to. You don't really need to try to figure that all out. You need to just allow things to happen when they happen. Now, you might develop a new relationship with somebody under energy like this. You might discover your soulmate. You don't know, Like I said, that is something going to be between you and the soulmate. And it could happen, it may not, and you don't need to figure out who it is. And that's what I noticed that people try to do. They go, oh, well, can you tell me when it's going to happen or who it is? No, I'm not going to do that today because that's not how the soul contracts work as far as I'm concerned, or how I see it. You need to just be doing what you need to do. If you want these things to come into play, you do what you need to do to find your balance. That's how they work. Sometimes those contracts are coming in to be the challenge in your life to make sure you find the balance. So it just depends. So just allow things to flow the way your soul contracts were designed before you even came here. And lighten it up a little bit. See, the Leo's reminding us of that. You might experience spiritual awakenings. You might find that you're inspired by other relationships in your life or chance encounters. You might find that your relationships that you're in have an inspiration and it's triggered to improve them. Things want to work out or find a way to communicate better between the two different energies. You might find that there's relationships that are falling away and they need to, and you're okay with that. And now you found your balance. There's another side to that. Yeah, you might find that there's ones that are going to go away because you've outgrown them, or everybody's outgrown them and everybody needs to go a different way. Allowing that. Some of it might be, that there's an exit for somebody. You might find that somebody's leaving. You might find somebody coming in. Sometimes somebody has to leave for somebody to come in. Like I said, these things come together for us to find where our soul has chosen to grow while we're in this life journey. So sometimes we just can't see it. But I've noticed that when we try so hard to figure it out before it gets here, or try to see so far down into the future, you're totally forgetting and missing everything that's coming right around you. So don't forget that part. I really like that these three have come together, Leo, Moon, Venus, and Mars, for that reason, because it reminds us, it reminds me constantly, don't worry about a year from now. Don't worry about what does that mean? What's going to come into my life? That's fear. And what do we need to do? What kind of energy do we need to balance fear? That would be more, you need some more male energy to not feel fear, be fearless. So that's just something that is an example of what I'm talking about here. For these two to come together is a rare treat. Doesn't happen very often. It's been, like I said, a year or so ago, or last summer. And it's just an energy to help you find your balance. It's an energy to find your balance within. It's an energy to find your creativity. It's an energy to find your motivation. It's an energy to remind you of how important you are, and you're here for a reason. You chose to be here to grow. You're worthy. You have it. You have a place here in the world, but we sometimes don't feel like we do. That would mean there's too much feminine energy, and again, masculine energy would help. If we are stomping all over, being too aggressive, it might be that you need to do a little bit more nurturing, or maybe you're really hard on yourself, or you feel like that's too weak. You can't be that way. Then that would be, you need to balance that side. And like I said, this has nothing to do with whether you're a man or a woman. This has to do with the energies within you to find the balance between the two. The yin and yang symbol is a perfect example of that, because we all have both energies. Remember, the full moon is to lighten it up. This is a joyful time. These three, it's very optimistic. It's very optimistic. So I really like this energy. So let's see here. Let me go say hello to everyone that has joined us in the chat and see how everybody's going here. We got Maddie, Pamela, Lisa, Veronica, Michelle. Hey guys, and Melissa. Let's see. Who got any questions? Definitely, let's see, Maddie, definitely working on intentionally feeling joy and taking breaks to fantastic. That's going to be your best. That's good. That's going to be, I'm really glad to hear you say that, because that's really going to help you a lot. Let's see here. Relaxing meditations. Good morning. I feel the wonderful energy. Any messages for me, because I'm planning a trip with my elder son. Nice. Nice. Well, let me see. Let me think about that. First of all, that's a relationship where this energy can actually be very, very positive. So you want to look at, if it's an elder son, I don't know how old, but look at a way to communicate better. I'm looking at, this is an energy to just bring in the relationship. This is a mother-son relationship. This can be very positive. This can be nurturing for, sometimes we, as moms, we have to let go a little bit more and let them know that we support them and we're proud of them. And at the same time, maybe it already is that way. But I feel a little bit about the relationship of the communication is going to bond and grow in friendship deeper as he's getting older. He may be an adult already, but I feel like he's a young adult or close to it. But I feel that there's a relationship bonding that will happen on the trip. Put that intention out there to just listen to what his passions are, if he hasn't been telling you what they are. And just show him that you care. You care and you're interested. And I'm sure you do this. It's just that that's what's popping up. And it sounds like it would be a great trip for bonding the relationship into a deeper friendship as he grows older. There's a trust thing with that. I kind of like that. Melissa, hi Jen, I'm a little confused on what next steps will be, deciding if I want to move or stay put for now. Will this become more clear, do you think? I think so. I think we're just approaching the energy just now, within a few days, between now and April, that opens things up for movement forward. So I think you're within a couple of weeks just to starting to get a clarity on what you want to do. But when you feel so indecisive, look to put the masculine energy in a little bit more for you. That might help your balance so you can make a decision and not second guess it. When I'm looking at energies for balancing here, because this energy right now is so much about that balance, the masculine energy helps us make decisions, be decisive, and take action. So if that's been feeling like, it doesn't mean you have to make that decision yesterday. It means work on that balance so when it does come up, it could be a month, it could be 2 months before that happens. I don't know. But that's what's going to help you know and not worry about the choices you make. That's where you might not need to take any steps. You might just need to enjoy where you are in the moment and appreciate where you are right now. That would be balancing some of your feminine. It seems like it's kind of an interesting blend. You seem close, like you teeter back and forth on energies like that. I hope that made sense. Interesting reads today, I know, right? Let's see. Maddie, I feel positive changes is happening. Good to hear. And I'm starting to get a lot of invitations related to my career, which is good. Awesome. Wondering if the angels have any messages as I start to take on more opportunities. Okay. Review them 2 or 3 times. When you get an opportunity or an option or a job offer or whatever that might be, review it a couple of times. You don't have to make a decision in 5 minutes. Sleep on it. I'm getting sleep on it, and then if you still feel good about it, then pursue it further. I feel that the rushing energy that has a sensation to try to tempt you to go faster than you need to, but you're starting to see all this good stuff coming in, you absolutely are going to look at it, but you don't have to rush. You can just evaluate it. And so if you want to tap into your intuition and make sure you know, ask your intuition. Just say, hey, if you feel a hesitation on any of it, then even take longer. But if you feel one is really exciting and you're like, oh yeah, this one sounds great, still take a moment to breathe, reread, look into it a little bit and see if you still feel that way in another day or so. This way, you know, when you make a choice and you approach them or you say yes to these opportunities or no, that you don't have to second guess, was that the right thing or the wrong thing to do? Remember, there's not a right or wrong. And then make a decision. It's also making a decision on how much you want to take on. How much is enough? How much is too much? That seems to be popping up too, just to let you know. But I'm loving that you're getting some positive movement now. But that's making sense with what's happening with the energies now. So remember, it was like mid-February. I think we talked about that last week. It's mid-February to about the 1st of April that there's this really great energy of movement here on getting something happening. So don't worry, you won't miss the boat. Our goal here is, and that's why we're doing this show particularly on this balancing energy. It's so important, is to balance that energy within you. Take note. Make sure with whatever practice you use, whether it's meditation, whatever your spiritual practices are, this is your soul here. This is important. This is your energy that you put out into the world with everything you do, whether it's your job, a relationship, or taking care of yourself. If that energy is not balanced, none of it comes into play the way you want it. I mean, it just kind of goes amok, you know? So bring your priority right now to seeing what you can do to balance that energy. Absolutely. I was trying to, and I will let you know, and I will send another email out. You might get another one in a couple of days. I'm working really hard this week on a really good product for you that would be about the self-care and different ways you can really tap into that. I just couldn't rush it. I've been working on it several days now, all day, and it was just not ready. So that's why you didn't see it. So if you need different things about that, that's coming. So look for your email to pop in on that, if you're on my newsletter list. And just know that this is the time to balance the energies. It really is. Time to balance the energies. Then when it comes time to make the choices, when it comes up, like Melissa was asking, like Maddie's seeing all these opportunities coming in, when you've got your energy balanced, you'll know what to do. That's how you'll know what to do. You'll trust what your intuition's bringing in, and you'll be able to make a decision. You'll be able to take action. That's what the goal is. Not, you know, that's what we want to do. Let's see here. Let's see. Hello, 757, Miss Shasha 757. Let's see. I've been operating in masculine energy for years. Feels good operating in my feminine energy now. Definitely need balance. Yeah. You'll know it. If you pay attention to which ones represent what, you can kind of tell how you are in things. And sometimes we just... sometimes there's just an imbalance on one side even, you know, but balancing them, it just settles all of the energy. It really does. You'll feel better. You'll be happier. You'll be at peace. You won't second guess yourself. You'll trust. It just all comes together. So there is something to this balancing act we are talking about here. You're so welcome, Melissa. Absolutely. Candace, good morning. Oh, you're okay, Candace. We love you no matter what. We have Lisa. Fog has lifted from past weeks. Feeling inspired and excited about what's in front of me. Oh, see, I love hearing this. This is good. This is good to hear. Finding joy in my time with my sons, my client and myself. My clients and myself. Fantastic. Fantastic for Lisa. Kudos to Lisa. Good news, guys. That's great. That is really great. What are some other ways, and think about it, you can post them if you want. What are some other ways that you can think of to balance? Let's start with one or the other. To balance, let's say we need to bring in more feminine energy. What would you do? So let's see if everybody kind of absorbed what we were talking about. What would you do if you were trying to bring in more feminine energy? I'm giving it a second. We listed some. Remember, it was take the yoga class or take the deep breaths. What would some of you do? What about spending time near the water? Remember, these are things that I've already said to you, but do you know of any that you would do? Because if you knew that you needed to balance or bring more of that energy in, what would you do? And then if you need to bring more masculine energy, what would you do? So let's go over a few more. If we were spending time in nature, if we were meditating in nature, that would bring in more feminine energy because it would connect you more with your intuition. It would bring you into that side of it. So Lisa, writing in journal, creativity, fantastic, fantastic. What about spending time alone? What about spending time alone? Rose petal bubble bath. Love that one. That sounds nice. That sounds really nice. See, okay, now that's the feminine energy. What would you do if you needed to bring more of the masculine energy in? Spending time outside in the garden. Yes, that's exactly the Venus energy. That's to bring in the more feminine energy. And sometimes we are going with that masculine. We don't even slow down and pay attention, right? The bringing in feminine energy kind of slows us down, and we find the peace and we nurture where we are. So I like that one. When we have to take action, we're on the other side of it. We need to find organization or structure or make something happen. It's the other side of it. But we don't know what to do. And here's the thing that you can see too. My chair is moving on me. Wait a minute. There we go. If we are in such a state like we're going so fast and we don't know where to go and we don't know how to make a decision, that would definitely be, we need to look at some feminine energy to bring in. Because why? Because that's where intuition, meditation, we're slowing down to listen, we're receiving energy. And how do you know how to make a decision if you don't have that? So a lot of times that happens in the world today because we feel this push all the time. Like, we need to know now, we need to know now. Maybe you need to slow it down to be able to go forward and finally move. That happens a lot. Let's see what else we have. Setting boundaries, using rose oil on my crown. Nice. You're welcome, Maddie. Definitely being mindful about staying balanced and not taking on too much at once. I know, sometimes we just love all of it at the same time and then we're overwhelmed. I know. That's loving lots of different things, but sometimes there has to be an order to it, and then we can enjoy each one. So let's see, what else do we have for masculine? It looks like we have a lot of energy for bringing in feminine energy. Okay, Mars energy. Let me remind you of some of the things I was bringing up. Strength training, vigorous exercise. But journaling is in this list too, remember? And it was about getting what's on your mind out on paper. That's actually masculine. That's like, let's go. Organizing or setting the plans and goals. So does anybody have any ideas on where they need that? You may not. Maybe we're all in this boat where we need to, like, hey, we need to bring in some of that other. Doing taxes. Oh, doing taxes. Yeah, I think we all need to do a little bit of that kind of energy, right? Yeah, doing taxes. That's hilarious, but that's a good one. Organizing everything that goes on to the tax forms, yes. Oh, how fun. What about conquering fears, overcoming them, being fearless? Let's see. Candace, I find that I increase masculine energy through a hard workout or challenge of some kind. Lisa, you still got all of us laughing because we're all in that tax time, aren't we? Oh, how fun, right? Yeah, that's hilarious. That's a good one though. What about, now here's one for masculine energy that you may not have thought of. We said in the feminine energy, you would meditate outdoors. Meditate under moonlight. But if you meditated in the sun, as the sun rises, the sun is the more representative of masculine energy, where moon is feminine energy. That's another way you can do it with intention. And then we also had something with foods. Here's the difference between the foods for masculine and feminine energy, which I find interesting. If you need more masculine energy, you would eat the spicy, warm foods. If you need more feminine, it would be more of the raw foods, like salad. You know, more raw food. I don't know if you've thought of that, but I thought that was one that was very interesting. And so if you had something that you could bring into your life, now let's talk about that full moon in Leo, because that one's fun. Let's talk about that full moon in Leo. If you had something you could do to bring, it's reminding us to bring the joy back into life. I believe Lisa already put something out there about joy with her children, her clients, things like that, herself. Yes, she's like right on track with that Leo moon. What would you do if it was reminding you that you need to not be so serious, you need to lighten up and have a little bit of fun, bring a little bit more joy in? What would that be? I'm just going to implement this. Get your mind engaged into these energies so you can actually put them into action, because you can start doing it today, and within 5 days here, it's all going to be at the peak. And it'll be around for a little bit, but you may as well start. Let me see here. Seriously watching sports with men will rub off on you. Yes, it would. Yes, it would. That's great. You guys are funny today. I like it. But seriously watching sports with men will rub off on you. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. When I was in my younger days, I was an athletic female. I loved sports. And I can look back now and I can see I needed to balance feminine energy with that, because I was extremely competitive. And I'm like, okay, I don't need to let it go make me crazy. And this is, we're talking when I was really young. And I look back now and I kind of laugh. I go, oh my goodness, I can see it. It can help you kind of anchor in where you are with stuff like that, when you can look back and you can see how you've grown, because you do want to appreciate that. You want to look back, where have I grown from when I was 20 or when I was in my teens, or even in my 30s, whenever you were. Like looking back and seeing how your approach to things was. I mean, I can look back now, and sports, I love sports. I love them as a female, but I also saw how competitive I could get. And I'm like, okay, now you're losing your balance. And that was when I was in my 20s, teens. I was like, oh, good grief. Yeah, I had to lighten up a little bit on that. And I had to find that balance. And, and then at the same time, what's wrong with winning? There's nothing wrong with winning. It's the ambition, it's the goal. And at the same time, we don't want to lose the joy meeting the end goal, remember? We don't want to miss all of that. So here we have, that's a good application for this moon energy. We sometimes get so caught up on the end goal, which was, in a sport for me, winning, and then we've missed the whole enjoyment of the journey to that. So that's like a good example. It's just an example. Not saying anything wrong with winning. Let's see. Maddie's saying, never thought about meditation times as relating to masculine and feminine, but that's interesting. It is a little bit. It's a little bit of a twist. So when you're working with sunrise, it's more of a masculine meditation. It's grounding. When you're working with moon energy, it's more intuitive and feminine. That's just another way to do an intention with that. If you're trying to balance one side or the other, different things. All it takes is that, intention. What about the can-do attitude? That would be more masculine. I can do this is positive. It's fearless, and it's motivational. That's a very positive masculine energy if you feel afraid to do anything. If we go back to the feminine energies, that would be more of a maybe reflective time, spending time by yourself, reflecting on things. It's a little bit more meditative, intuitive. You're kind of in this, you're spending time meditating in nature more. You're in nature, not necessarily a sun or a moon, but you're in nature. It's like Mother Earth, connecting with that a little bit more. Practicing self-love is one of the most important ones here. Not putting yourself on the back burner, because how in the world can you give anything to anybody else if you don't have anything left? Because you forgot to take care of you, right? So that would be more feminine balancing. That would be more, and that one does come up a lot, because it's a tendency for women to, take care of everybody else first. And that's fine, but believe it or not, that is an imbalance to the feminine energy. We're thinking, oh, we're moms, we're families, we have families, we have this, we have that, and we always do that. We have a tendency to do that. And at the same time, we can give them so much more if we're balanced and we take care of ourselves as well. It's a different thought to think about. Making yourself feel good, making yourself like the rose petal bath here, or making yourself feel beautiful and feel good about who you are, working on listening to your intuition and trusting it. We have to trust it, and at the same time we have to not be worn out. We have to not be afraid. But believe it or not, there's more masculine energy involved with moms. It's typical with moms, busy moms. They forget to eat and they're making sure everybody else is taken care of. Then they're exhausted at the end of the day. That's actually masculine, and no feminines left. You haven't given any to yourself. I don't know if you've thought about it that way. I don't know. To me, it makes more sense. Like, no, I need to do some self-care. Feminine energy is taking care of yourself. It's self-care too. So with that, let's see. Anybody else here? Let me see. Oh, Maddie, I definitely chilled out a bit since my athletic days. It's hard for me to get as invested as a spectator. I do. I enjoy certain sports. I don't watch them all the time as much either, but and I do like to stay active physically. I mean, yeah, I do. I do like to stay active, but I do a lot of different kinds of things now. Let's see. Relaxing meditations. Going on a trip is definitely masculine energy because it takes a lot of courage to backpack in Europe. Holy cow. Is that what you're going to do with your son? That sounds awesome. That is masculine. I love that kind of stuff. Yeah, I have a lot. I get it. I have to remind myself that I have to make sure my feminine energy is balanced too. Because I see, that sounds like a fantastic trip to me. I love stuff like that. I know. That is coming from somebody that used to take groups into a swamp to spend the night in tents with alligators. I did do that. Yes, I used to do that. I absolutely did. And I had a blast doing it. I know. And I'm thinking that is kind of skilling, I guess. But yeah, we just were appreciating nature even in that. Lisa, always look forward to Thursdays with all of you. Have a great week. We love you too, Lisa. Good to hear from you. You put in some great insight today. For all of you that have joined me today, I want to say thank you. It was a lot of fun to kind of do some brainstorming together on different ways we can balance our energies here and appreciate what the universe is bringing us. So remember, 15, 16 of February next week, we have full moon in Leo, which is bringing us the reminder of joy and playfulness in our life. We have Venus and Mars lining up with that full moon to remind us about balancing our masculine and feminine energy and how we can feel good about our contribution and what we're doing with our projects and what we're doing in the world and who we are in the world. Appreciating. And then when you have that balanced, you can give so much more out to those you love and care for. I want to say thank you to everyone. Take me with you. Oh my goodness. I want to say thank you again, and I wish you all great success on your balancing act in the next probably good 6 weeks here. We have good energy for this, but especially right now around this lineup here for the next couple of weeks, really take some time and balance that energy. Thanks so much for tuning in. I will see you next time here on the Jenn Royster Show. Namaste.
You've been listening to the Jenn Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life. Dr. Jenn Royster is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Imagine having the ability to use your innate positive energy to dissolve the stuckness in your life, whether it's emotional, physical, or spiritual, through this incredible dynamic show. If you've missed any part of this show or any other show,